Spoiler alert. Please be advised that the following video will contain spoilers for Lovecraft Country. What's up everybody, it's me E-Man from E-Man's Movie Reviews. Did y'all see that crazy bananas episode 11 of Lovecraft Country tonight? It was so crazy. So crazy it didn't happen because the show is over and I'm just sitting here like, what are we supposed to do on Sunday nights now? Anyway, with the season being over, I had to kind of like sit around and I had like all these questions in my mind that I think a lot of you also have about what we would like to see addressed if and when a season 2 actually happens. So I'm going to cover a number of those questions, and I'll also give you an update about where things are with a potential season 2. One of the most questionable situations in Lovecraft Country is who is actually the real father of Atticus Freeman. We learned that after the Tulsa Massacre, both Montrose and George Freeman had a complicated relationship with Dora Freeman. George mentioned the issue early on, but Montrose dismissed it as a settled situation where Montrose would claim Tick as his own son. To make things even a bit more complicated, during a magic spell that conjured up a younger Dora, while dancing with George, she mentions that George had children. That obviously implied that George had another child besides his daughter Diana. However, with that all being a magical illusion, it's kinda hard to know whether it's trustworthy or not. So who do you think is Tick's real father? Next up is the question about the Black Shaggoth. During episode 8, Atticus and Montrose conjured up a spell to protect their family. We later got to see that protection be manifested through the Black Shaggoth that sprung to Tick's defense at the very last moment. Many viewers wondered if the new creature could actually be the spirit of one of Tick's ancestors. More specifically, people have wondered if the Black Shaggoth is actually Uncle George reincarnated. That might also explain why the Shaggoth seem not only connected and fond of Tick, but also to Diana as well. It would certainly be a touching story to know that her father was still watching over her all this time. Do you believe the Black Shaggoth is Uncle George, or is it just a magical creature sent to protect Tick's family? Speaking of which, one of the most beloved characters, probably leaving the show a little too soon, was Uncle George. His untimely death has left fans feeling uneasy and often wondering if he can make a return. The closest we got to his return was in a parallel universe when Hippolyta traveled to different worlds and encountered another version of Uncle George. The interesting thing here is that we saw Hippolyta do something even more extraordinary, and that was when she took this new version of Uncle George to travel with her to other parallel worlds. Naturally, it was a bit disappointing when Hippolyta returned back to her own world in time and showed up empty-handed without Uncle George 2.0. Since magic and traveling to different worlds and times is a possibility in Lovecraft Country, we can't rule out the possibility of Uncle George making a return. Let me know, do you think that Uncle George will return? Next up, we have to talk about a mystery woman. During episode 6, we got a chance to see who the Korean woman was that Atticus was calling on the phone in earlier episodes. We learned that Gia was actually a kamiho, which meant that she was possessed by a fox spirit that uses its 9 tails to absorb the life energy of its victims. Another ability it has is to see visions and memories of that person's life. During her encounter with Tick, she had a unique situation where Gia was able to see Tick's past and future. She began to initially see his past, and then when she kicked him off of her, she began to see visions of his future. If we are to take these visions as being in chronological order, the very first image of Tick's future we see is that of him with another black woman. Judging by the timeline, this would place this event after Tick leaves Korea and before he arrives to Chicago in episode 1. Viewers have wondered who this woman is and if she carries any significance. If there is a season 2, maybe her sexual encounter with Atticus could make for an interesting Easter egg for a future plot point. Who do you think she is, and do you think this mystery woman is important? In episode 7, there was definitely a bit of a mind trip going on with all of the multi-dimensional travel. While most of the attention was placed on Hippolyta's travels, viewers were given a small but interesting bit of information with Tick. Atticus claimed that when he jumped through the portal, he traveled to the future. In this future, he saw white people rioting. There was also a hooded woman with a robotic arm that handed him the Lovecraft Country book that was written by George Freeman. This George Freeman being Atticus's future son. So when did Atticus jump into the future, and why were white people rioting? Given what we saw in the finale, it would appear that Diana could actually be this hooded woman. We did see her also reading the very same book that Tick retrieved from the future. Also, given the appearance of George Freeman on the book, it looks like he might have been in his 30s. If that's the case, then maybe the future Tick went to was during the 1970s or 80s at the earliest. Then again, we don't really know when the book had came out or for how long it's been out. And maybe Tick jumped into the present day in 2020. It's hard to tell, and for that reason, fans are eager to see what may happen in a potential season 2. So when in the future do you believe that Tick visited during his time jump? Another beloved character to meet a dire fate was Ruby. The finale had a surprising twist with Christina making a blood potion to transform into Ruby. Well, viewers didn't actually see Ruby's death, but we did see Gia's vision that Ruby was in a comatose state. Many fans are split on whether Ruby was actually killed or not. When it comes to the blood potion, Christina has used some mixed language in regards to her first blood potion with William.
The captain tried to kill him to take his seat. Shot him in the back and dumped his body in the river like he was a piece of trash. Lancaster believes that he succeeded, but William survived with my help.
Did you kill them?
No, they were already dead.
Later, as she's instructing Ruby about the essentials of spell making, she said that the spells require intention and that she used William's death for his rebirth, seeing as though the intention could be a pretty powerful one when a loved one is killed, and we do know that Christina had a romantic relationship with Ruby. Does this mean that Christina also used Ruby's death for her rebirth? Or maybe she only knocked Ruby out and put her in a coma just to use her blood. Since we didn't actually see Ruby's fate on screen, anything could happen and anything is possible. Maybe a future season will confirm her death, or maybe she'll be found in a coma and later revived. So, do you believe that Ruby is still alive? The season finale delivered a crushing blow for viewers when it came to pass that Atticus did indeed appear to die to perform the spell. Just like Atticus, audiences probably thought that there was another way to getting around their mission without having to actually kill Tick. However, all the events leading up to his death, like being baptized, making peace with his father, settling things with Gia, and passing down the shaggoth to Dee, they all seemed like signs of someone who knew that the end was near. If the show did decide to bring Atticus back, it could be done in a number of different ways. The family does have the Book of Names, so maybe there's a spell to reverse things. They also have a multiverse machine, so there's a chance that they could get an alternate version of Tick from a different world or time. Or maybe the show will move on from Tick, and similar to other ancestors, Tick could also be conjured up as a ghost instead. Anything is possible, but the only way we'll know for sure is if there's another season to confirm any of this. So would you like to see Tick return? If so, how? Well, those are just some of the questions that I think many of us have for Lovecraft Country and a potential season 2. But I gotta be honest, I still have like a bunch more questions. I mean, things like, who was that guy in Lancaster's closet? What will Diana's future be like when she grows up? What's next for Hippolyta? Is she going to keep on traveling to different worlds? What about Letty and baby George Freeman? What is Letty going to do with the Book of Names? Will there be any backlash now that all white people no longer can practice magic? Does Diana have to use olive or motor oil to grease her new arm? Like I said, plenty of questions, and hopefully if we get a season 2, all those things will be answered. So what questions do you have that might not have made this list? Let me know in the comments down below so we can talk about them. As I mentioned earlier, showrunner Misha Green has been asked about whether season 2 would happen, and here are just a few snippets of what she had to say in a previous interview. She was asked, "There are still plenty of places you could go in season 2. Do you know what that could be? Is that something that you have a plan for?" Yes. No spoilers though. We know the direction. It's about a direction. Another question was, if you come back for a second season, will it be without Tick? Green replied, no spoilers, that would spoil season 2. So I like the fact that she said that, right? I mean, she's not really confirming it. There has been nothing officially confirmed from HBO, but I like the fact that she has got a plan just in case it does get the green light. So all we got to do now is just wait. But I love the fact that they have a direction and that they have some forethought about where this show could potentially go. That gives me just a little bit more hope that we're actually going to see a season 2. And when I tell you, I'm going to be all over it. If there's a season 2, y'all better come back. Because it's going to be some fun. Anyway, thank you so much for taking the time to watch my video. As I've always said, I always appreciate when you all take the time to watch my videos. If you're new here and you like what you see, please give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and make sure you hit that bell so you don't miss out the next time I drop a video. Also, shout out to all of you out there that have been sharing my videos. I cannot thank you so much for that because that really does support my channel and I'm super, super appreciative for it. So again, thank you. Please stay tuned because I'm working on a theory for Lovecraft Season 2 video. If you're new to my channel, sometimes what I like to do is come up with theories or ideas on where a show might go or where a movie might go. And, I'll just kind of put it together kind of like a story or something, just to kind of throw the idea and share it with you. So it will definitely be interesting. I did a little bit of a rewatch of the season after the finale because, I'm just thirsty for more Lovecraft Country. And I picked up on a couple things that I clearly just ignored the first time through the show. And I think they've laid out some very interesting Easter eggs that I cannot wait to share with you. I think there's some things that a lot of other people might have missed. And I am super excited to share them with you and just give you my idea of where I think one potential route could be for season 2 of Lovecraft Country. So be sure to stay tuned. I'll try to get that out as soon as possible for you. In the meantime, I've got more videos and reviews to do for you all. And until next time, I'll see you all later.